You look good. Hello, everyone. We are officially live. I'm here today with my guest, Cathy Murray. I'm so glad that she decided to be my guest today. And this week, I have been honoring women making history, and this is day 5. So I wanted to bring on Cathy, Dream Girl, Cathy. So, Cathy, are you here? Okay, you
Hello,
look
everyone. Hi.
frozen for a minute, but you're not
Yes.
frozen.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I met Cathy about 4 years ago, actually, a little bit after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I
Hmm.
found her on Facebook. I think she put in like some kind of little flyer up about she was having an event and she was wanting to honor women, like she always just honoring everybody. And I needed support. So I was like, well, I'm going to go, even though I don't know anyone. And so I went to this event. It was her and some other wonderful ladies. It was brunch at the Embassy Suites in Hoover. And it was such a nice event. I think it was in December, like at Christmas time or something. Because I remember everything was red. It was like red decorations, red everywhere. And so I remember during that time, I was just finishing up chemotherapy. I was trying to heal my body. I felt like alone and just didn't have a lot of support. But I ran into
Hmm.
her there, and everyone was just so loving and kind, and they just loved on me and prayed over me. And I left there feeling amazing. So Cathy always makes everyone feel amazing, which is why she is one of my closest friends. Anytime I call on her, she's there. And I just want her to know that she is
Yeah.
a history in the community, in life, and health for
Thank you.
everyone and her family. So I wanted to let her tell a little bit about herself, introduce herself, whatever she want to share with you guys. Cathy, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I am Cathy Murray. I am married to an amazing husband. I have a daughter, and I have 3 sons, and I have a grandson named King in Arizona. And I'm just, most people know me, I'm a servant at heart. It's nothing so extravagant about me is that I love to see others smile. I love to bring joy, hope, love to others. And I think a lot of this was birthed out of my pain and some of the abuse and things that I went through years ago. And I just wanted to be that people for all and to bring joy to the world. And so later on, we'll get a chance to talk about the Dream Girl, and that's what God gave me a vision of Dream Girls, even in the midst of my pain. He set me up with an amazing purpose to be able to encourage women in their darkest hour. And my prayer was that even whenever I came into the presence of anyone, that I was able to make a difference, to bring that love and that hope. And it's just so amazing that I met Marshall and was able to walk and journey with her during her stages of cancer. And then to be able to pray with her through and see her strength. And so it's so important that we have a support system and someone who's just going to empower you to keep moving forward. So Marshall is truly one of my dream girls. She's an amazing light, um, advocate, author, sister, friend. She's amazing. So I'm honored that you had me on today. And hey, we'll learn a little bit more about me as we go.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. So we are streaming live today to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I want to make sure people know who I am since this might be your first
Hmm.
time meeting me. So I am Marshall Harris. I am the founder and CEO of Wellness for Life LLC, which is a digital health and wellness coaching and consulting company. It was founded by me to inspire women to not do cancer alone, but to believe that you can live beyond the diagnosis. So I help cancer
Hmm.
survivors advocate for their own health and wellness so that they can navigate through the healthcare system with confidence.
Hmm.
And that's who I am. So we're going to get started with some questions for Miss Cathy. So I would like for you to
Yes.
share with us some of the things that you're passionate about in the community.
Okay. My biggest goal in the community is to bring awareness to the community on specific subject matters in the community, whether that be domestic violence is one of the platforms and advocate where I walked and joined journey through my life as domestic violence to bring awareness to the community. Also, a lot of things I go into the schools and bring information in reference to bullying. Uh, One of my things is that as a child, if you do not control the young bully, you'll become an adult bully. And so, therefore, that becomes rage and violence in the community. So, if we can get a handle on bringing the awareness as a young age to some of the youth in our community, I highly is one of my stance in the community is that to speak on and to teach and educate our children on different way to reconcile relationships when in difficult situations things that I advocate is bringing from cancer, awareness. People need to know about their health. One of my biggest things is mental wellness, being well in your mind. Because when you're well in your mind, you're well in your spirit and your body. So mental wellness is one of the key points of I've been able to, as a small group, I attend for the Highlands. A small group is Freedom to Reign is the name of a small group, but the book is Out of the Cave by Pastor Chris Hodge. And it addresses depression, anxiety, and it touches on a biblical standpoint of mental illness, where we also know that illness, we want to be well. And so some of the preventative ways is to get in a small group, talk to a therapist, get the necessary help you need. And, I would like to, that stigma, break the stigma that's on mental illness because a lot of people commit suicide and feeling that they're lonely, they're not loved, just because of information and because some of the things that their emotions that they're feeling is quite normal. They just may need to get some medical attention, help. Um, and one of our other young ladies, Jakisha, talked on yesterday about it's okay to have Jesus and a therapist. And I recommend that as well. But the awareness is me. I advocate on several um, awareness and violence.
Okay, Kathy, I think your phone is breaking up or kind of going in and out a little
Okay, I
bit at
think
the end.
I'm back. Okay. Experience my time of experience of in home
Hey, Kathy, I can't hear you.
in the community that homelessness is another thing in the community that
It's
I
better.
advocate on and bring awareness.
Oh, I lost you. Okay, I think she was having a bad connection, so she probably will get back on in a second. So I would just take a few moments to just say hello to everyone that's watching. You can put in the comments your name, where you're watching from, while we get Kathy a chance to get back on. What are your plans for the weekend? Yay, you're
Yeah,
back.
I'm back. I'm back.
I think it was
I
going to happen.
disappeared and reappeared. Yes,
It was going
but
out for a moment.
yes, but what I was wrapping it up in reference to was homelessness was my last venture in reference to, and that's why I have the passion for it. You see me serving in community, you see me out serving the homeless, because this is a journey that I journeyed during my earlier years, younger years, 20s, 30s, that I experienced. So I took on that passion to be able to pour back into people in those areas where God brought me out of.
Yes. I think it's so very important to give back. And I always call it turning pain into purpose, which is
Yes,
one of the chapters in my new book, Turning Pain into Purpose. It just really, like, it just makes sense because you didn't go through this for nothing. So you
no,
want to give God the glory in all things, and turning your
yes,
pain into purpose is a good way to do that. So I want to go back a little bit because you said so many great, wonderful things and so many great nuggets there and all the things that you're doing in the community. But I want to take a step back and talk more about the Dream Girls and how that got started.
yes. Okay, the Dream Girls. Dream Girls was birthed from. I lived in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, for approximately 18 years. By way of, I was a banker at Compass Bank, and during my tenure there, the years I worked, I was a workaholic. I wasn't taking care of myself, doing none of the self care that I'm doing now. I would just work, 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 work. Numbers, 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 money, money, money. And so I got a little sick. I ended up being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, diabetes. My health was failing. Like by the time I got like 35, and so I was just in a place where I knew at that point I had so many gifts God had birthed in me. I was creative. I was graphic art design. I did so many things. And I was at a place in my life where I did so much, but I was putting everything I wanted and needed first instead of putting God first. The word of God says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. And
Amen.
because I was out of order, God
Yes.
had to put me back into order to open my eyes and see that I am your source of supply. And so I went through a time where my health failed and I began to go in depression. I began to deal with anxiety and I began to cry out to God and say, God, I know there is more that you have birthed inside of me. And I said, at that point, I tell people that I feel like I'm in a nightmare.
Mm.
He said, but trust me. He said, trust me. He said, this was a process that he had to take me through. He said, because you're not a nightmare, you're my dream girl. So he took me in the book of Genesis in the beginning where there was Adam and Eve. And he said, Eve, if you look at Eve, she was my dream girl. He said, you're my dream girl. And so at that point, I said, dream girl. But he kept putting women. I kept seeing women. I kept seeing girls. And I said, Lord God, what is this? So within that time, I was praying and seeking God, and I was repenting because I felt that I was out of line and out of place with God. I wasn't doing what He needed me to do. So as I began to seek Him during this hour, it was a week later, a young lady from a school. And the school was like one of the at-risk schools, pregnant teen schools. And she contacted me and said, could you come in and do an event for my ladies? And that particular event was Dream Girls, a Treasure Island talk show. So that was the first one that I did in Dream Girls. And God began to show me, and He said, write the vision, make it plain. He began to give it to me. And I have another young lady, her name is Kimberly Barnes. She came by my house. She was an assistant of mine, and she said, what's on your mind? I know God has something. I began to give her the vision, and she began to write it. And before I know it, within the next 2 months, we was in this school orchestrating Dream Girls Treasure Island talk show. And as I began to see it, each room we went, it was like an island, you know, and each island had a theme to it. And to see these young girls get healed, to get
Wow.
delivered, get pampered, get set free, and even laugh. We had a comedian on the island, and it helped me, and it just came clear. So from that point, God allowed me to go into the schools. One of my ladies who even I'm dealing with now, she's a fantastic, phenomenal young lady, Pamela Neal, and she uh, I was going into other schools doing Dream Girls. or fly. And fly with a dream girl is first love yourself. So we was teaching dream girls young girls how to love themselves,
Mm,
and not only that, to prepare themselves. We asked them, they would interview with me first. And my first question will be, where you see yourself in the next 2 years? Then where you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I
mm,
needed them to write it down because we was trying to plan in their mind because they were dream girls. You're going somewhere. We want you to move forward, not backwards. So we was able to do that. And a group of dream girls would go into the school and we would have these things set up for the girls to have them to some to look forward to, and also we had horses. We had another dream girls who had a horse stable, and we would take the girls out into that area where horses are therapeutic. And then they were able to be around the horses and touch on the horses. And some of these young girls had been through trauma. And just
mhm.
because they're young in school doesn't mean they've been traumatized. A lot of children and young girls are molested by the age of 5, 6, and 7. And I was one of them. So therefore, a lot of people don't understand when you going through something like at a young age, you need some help.
Mm,
And when you reach out, and that's where that dream girl really was birthed from. God allowed me to go through one of my darkest hours. And so as we go back to the small group I'm doing now. I think it's 13 weeks.
mhm.
Marshall is one of my leaders. And we're at a place right now, I say, out of the cave. And it's the best thing. I just salute our Pastor Chris Hart for doing, for bringing us out of the cave. So as dream girls, we're going from a cave girl to a dream girl. So now we're dealing with the adult women, bringing them out, defeating, coming against the attack of the enemy and those things that have hindered us in our past, that we can look like a dream girl, not some of the time, but all of the time.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love how you share how the Dream Girls came about. And it's definitely first loving yourself. I mean, that's definitely
Yeah.
what you make people feel when you tell them you're a dream girl. I can remember when I first met you, you just automatically said, I will be a dream girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt very loved,
Absolutely.
so wonderful. And I can remember,
Mhm.
like, I think it was like the next week or maybe 2 weeks after that, I was going into my very first surgery ever, to get a mastectomy. And it was in Atlanta, and you showed up with all kinds
Yeah.
of snacks and food for everyone that was there. It was so wonderful and amazing. And Cathy, because you are wonderful and amazing, you make
Thank
everybody
you.
feel wonderful and amazing. And I appreciate
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
I know the Dream Girls are in great hands with you
Yes.
as their leader. So share some of your experience of being a survivor. You mentioned being a domestic violence survivor. Would you like to
Mhm.
share something about that?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I was a two-time. I went through um, domestic violence twice in my life. One right out of during my early years of college. Um, Met a gentleman, and I soon was, nice and kind and all this kind of stuff. And yes, that's what it appeared to be. But as the relationship went on, it wasn't as peachy, I would say, as he appeared to be. There was verbal, threats, and also some physical. So therefore, that didn't last long. And one of the biggest things was is that he had asked me to marry him, and I had already seen the red flags. And I got to a place as he began to give me a ring. I said no,
Mm,
and he really went livid. And at that point, I was in my dad's home with a cousin, and my cousin, which I didn't know, he walked by, and at the time he walked by, he saw the reflection in the mirror in our front room, and the guy had slapped me. And I'm like, ooh, and after he left, because my cousin was trying to be wise, let him go. And then we end up, he asked me, and I was honest. I said, yeah, He said, tell me the truth, because I seen him in that mirror. I know I'm not crazy, you know. And so we went to um, 6th Avenue to the Birmingham Police Department and, you know, filed charges. They picked him up that morning, and he called, and really that was it, you know, kind of threatening and stuff. But yeah, it's not a good thing, because oftentimes in take your time, even with doing a dating process, um before you get to that step. You just never know, and oftentimes people don't show their selves until later. You know, people going to put that best foot forward first, and do everything to get you when you over. But yet we got to think about mental wellness, illness. And I just felt there was some things on the inside of him that he was dealing with, a spirit of control, narcissistic spirit, that just want to manipulate. And there was a lot of that, a lot of threats. And young ladies, we're dream girls. We're not nightmares. So we don't have to settle for anything. Know that you're a child of the Most High God, and you can stand firm. But the biggest thing is to walk away and get the help, and not stay in denial because of what friends may say. Oh, I want to be married now. But you know he have some anger management issues. You know he's not treating you like a queen. You know he's not treating you like a dream girl, but yet you're living in a nightmare because you're settling. Don't settle, because you'll sell your own life out. And we have a lot of women that I have witnessed, dream girls, have lost their life to domestic violence,
Mm.
being in a relationship that is unhealthy, just to say, I'm with someone. You know, so with that domestic violence, even the second one, it was a more of a church situation. I was married, and the biggest thing is education for the church, I would say. At that time, I just felt that the church was not knowledgeable enough how to handle domestic violence. So right now, I'm an advocate. I have been and spoken at many churches in reference to domestic violence and bringing awareness to domestic violence. And one of the things that is a no-no, that you don't bring the victim and that person in the same room together.
Mhm.
That, you know, even in marriage counseling, you know, you need to separate that and then work it back in once you see the tone of the two. So I feel that the churches really need more, because they are getting to the feelings of, oh, these are two people that, you know, we just adore. But I didn't feel safe in the ark of safety. You know, I didn't feel safe. And it was very hard, very difficult to journey that. But God covered me and He protected me. And there was some amazing leaders in the church that was by my side, that prayed, that was with me, and they only did what they knew to do. And so the church, they still my family. You know, I love them, but it's just hard when the church have the weight of domestic violence relationship of leaders in the church, you know. So I said counseling and therapy is so important that we have that, because I don't feel it even is fair for my relationships to be on the church like that. But the church is a way of escape. They can have resources. They don't even have to get 100. Say, you know, we're gonna pray, but this is a resource for you where you can go and get more counseling, more this and that. So I think the proper resources as well, you know, a safe place, especially for women, a safe place. YWCA, definitely a safe place to say, here, this is a safe place for you to be, you know. So definitely with domestic violence.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that's really going to help a lot of women.
Yes.
And especially the one that you told at first about the relationship you was in. And sometimes women, you know, we're just so happy to be getting married. We're just so happy that we might have found the right person. We ignore those red flags. That
Mm-hmm.
definitely brings me back to when I got married, and my marriage only lasted for 9 months a couple of years ago, right before I got diagnosed with
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer. I married
Mm-hmm.
someone that I thought I knew and I grew up with, like from like elementary to high school. And so They appeared to be like this great person then, and I thought, oh wow, they're still the same great person as an adult. And like we dated for a very short time. And I also recommend that you take at least 4 seasons to get to know someone. You need to see them
Hmm.
happy, sad, angry, mad, all the things before you say I do.
Absolutely.
Like you
Yes.
say, everyone put their best foot forward, and you meet the representation of the person first before you
Hmm.
actually meet that real person. And you don't want to find yourself in a situation of like, oh, well, I want to get married, and like, you want to be you want to make sure that you're doing the right things. So you don't want to be having sex before getting married, and
Hmm.
you want to do all the right things, and you've been in church all your life, so you go ahead and you
Yes.
kind of rush through the process. But you got to take time.
Time.
No confusion when it comes to Christ Jesus. If something
And,
is meant for you, it's going to be
mhm.
for you. That person's going to be understanding and will wait for you until marriage. But rushing into something will definitely leave you heartbroken, hurt, and
Yeah.
not well.
And pre-counseling is vital. And oftentimes when they don't want to do that, that's a red flag. Because why would you not want to build a healthy relationship? Why wouldn't you want to um, get tools proper so you could be built on a strong foundation? Because it's a process. That's a life, that's an investment. We invest in IRAs, we invest in all these different investments in real estate property. Why can we invest in a healthy relationship? And that takes time, even to be able to stand or sit before a pastor or a therapist, a counselor outside the church walls. But that's something that both would need to be willing to invest in before you take that walk down that aisle and say I do,
Yes.
because you're dealing with finances, you're dealing with uh, blended families, you're dealing with children, and that's something that you want to be able to say, not yes because, oh, I'm in my feelings right now. You look handsome or you cute or whatever. No, let's get to the real dirt. Let's say, well, hey, who's gonna wash the dishes? Who's gonna do the cook? Who gonna do this? Who gonna take the dog? Who gonna, it's a team effort. And there's no I in team. So it's so vital that you
Yeah.
take that proper time to invest. If you invest time to go try on a wedding dress and you go get size 2 and 3 times, and you take months to plan a wedding, but you invest no time in the relationship and pre-counseling to
Hmm.
make sure that this is healthy, to make sure that, so yes, I mean, it will fumble.
Yes, gotta do that. Definitely pre-marriage counseling. Definitely don't be afraid to ask questions, the hard questions. Yeah, I ask all the questions now. I'm very wise, but
Yes,
I'm also
yes,
very single. But
yes. Not
not
long.
those questions though. All right. So our next question. So how can women get out or get help when they find themselves in this situation? They see the red flags, but now they're deep in it. What is something they can do to get out?
I would say one of the things is um, that I had to do is talk to some spiritual leaders. Um, Oftentimes, it depends on who it is. I found out some close family wasn't as healthy to talk to, so I had to reach outside. There's also always I will always send people because I do partner with YWCA. And if you're in a place where you feel your life is threatened, or you fear him or whatever, and you need to get out, always talk to the women about always prepare yourself. Always have your important papers. Always have everything you need where you can pick up and go. But you also want to speak with them. YWCA, contact them. They have counselors right there online to help you anytime, to help you get out of the situation. Oftentimes, we end up sharing with our loved ones where we're going, and that person will ask your love, the one you're trying to get away from, well, hey, where is she? They'll give you a location. So therefore, you want to be discreet. And so you want to make sure, even if if it's a close, person, coworker or minister that can contact them and help you get that set up, YWCA or somewhere where they have that. But definitely reach out and get one of the agencies to help you or one of your minister friends. And I have been an advocate for many people. They were not in a place where they can call. So therefore they said, well, hey, this is what I need. And I was able to do some of the leg work, but then they had to do the rest. But to have a support system, someone that you trust to tell certain things to in reference to and your safety, for they can help you get out and contact the right people and authorities to help you move out.
And what is YWCA?
That's Young Women Central Alabama.
Okay.
Yes.
All
And
right.
what that is, they house women. They house women that need help from domestic violence and from homelessness. And so they're there to help you in a situation. I mean, they do children as well. And you just call. Normally, I have the number with me, and the crisis hotline, and we'll get you in there to get the help that you need, whether you need to move, relocate, and we have them all across Alabama. Definitely one downtown that we can get, and we'll make sure that they have the information and a phone number on site that you can put in the comments later.
Okay, definitely. That would be a wonderful resource for anyone who have questions or need to know where to go or need some resources. I'm glad that we have those resources in the community. It's so very, very
Hmm.
important. So we have a few more minutes left because I want to make sure that I'm being considerate of your time. What are some of the events that you have upcoming or that you might be sponsoring in the community?
Okay. Okay. Right now, I would say actually tomorrow we have a out of the cave where we're going to the Cathedral of the Caverns, and that
Mhm.
is a small group that I'm doing along with Marshall and Marilyn. With 13 weeks, but we're going on a trip tomorrow. Us girls, we're going to just relax because I just feel part of even the mental wellness is that oftentimes you need to be able to get away. We have our small group. We talk. We deal with the spirit, mind, soul, and body. We laugh, we fellowship, we eat good food. But also sometimes you got to plan that trip. And so tomorrow we'll be going to the Cathedral of the Caverns on tomorrow. And then we will also be doing another outreach before the end of the our 13-week small group. And if you were not able to get on this time with us, I will say next time, join us. It's just been phenomenal. Um, there toward the end of the year, we will also be doing several. I do schools in between, but I don't have a calendar for that. I go in and do awareness programs uh, throughout the next several months. But toward the end of the year is when we kick off with domestic violence awareness. That we'll be having that that we kick off, and sometimes those events are partnering with the cancer survivors on that month. Also, as a community, I would say advocate. One of the things I do is do community service awards, and that's a volunteer community service awards for on behalf of President Joe Biden. And later on, upcoming, we will before the end of the year, we will be acknowledging more volunteers that have served our community, and I will be able to recognize and honor them with awards in reference to that. I often periodically have different things where we're going to serve the homeless. So we will be doing serving the homeless again as well, along with some other things we'll be doing, which I would definitely put different flyers when I have out there for you. So maybe just watch my Facebook page. I will put it out there. Some events that I do is really behind the scene. Some of them are private events, some of them are one-on-one. A lot of things in the community, you may not see pictures until later. I'll throw some pictures out there, or maybe you may not see them. It just depends on. the event, who we're catering to, and some of the events are sensitive matters, um, with certain groups of people that are private. So we do keep that, but when there's something where we have opening out and we're doing, I would definitely let you know and put it out there. And I also have a Dream Girls Are Fly .org page, and you can go on and look on that, and it just highlight different things in the community, um, that's there, maybe going on.
Okay. Well, how can people follow you and support you or donate to your cause?
Okay, like I said again, there's a website there, and
Mhm.
also you can follow me, Cathy Lakhani Murray. Normally on Facebook, that I'm there, and like I say on my website, that you can follow me, and there's a link and all that kind of stuff that's on there. And always, you can message me. I am like an open book. Most people know I'm very personable, so you can message me and just leave your information. I do return. I do get back with you. And also, you can text me at 480-433-8719. If you have any questions or you want to just be a part of maybe another um, actual small group, Freedom to Reign. And so if you want to do that, you can just reach out to me and I'll be glad to connect you. Again, my number is 480-433-8719. You can send me a text.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
You're
Is there anything
welcome.
else
You're
you would
more than
like to
welcome.
share before we get off?
I'm
You,
sorry. Say that
is there anything
again.
else you would like to share or mention before we get off today?
Um, what I would like to share is just let everybody know that you're beautiful and wonderfully made, that you are a gift from God, and God have a purpose and a plan for your life to be here. And He loves you. He loves you. And I want to encourage you, no matter what place you're in or what, however you feel, don't quit. Don't give up. Keep moving forward, and get you a circle of people that can encourage you. Are you welcome to join the Dream Girls? You're welcome to join us or my small group. Yes, a lot of people say you busy, you all over, but yes. But you know what? You can always message me, and if anybody tell you, I do respond. So um, I love you, and Marcia, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure. Dream
Yeah.
girl, it was a pleasure.
Dream girls will fly. We got to stick together.
Yes, 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 yes. And don't forget that dream girls first love yourself. You got to
Yeah.
love yourself, so that comes a time when we have to have balance and we have to have order in our life. I thank God. Um, I was at the age of, I think, when I was dealing with the doctors back in Arizona, and I was doing ministry at the church, and I was going to a doctor's appointment, and one of my doctors was saying, said, Miss Kathy, he said, do you love yourself? I said, yes, sir. He said, I don't think so. He said, because you're not taking care. He said, if you don't change your lifestyle, you will not live to even see 50. So as I sit here and I had to receive what the man of God shared with me, and I had to make some changes, um, that I sit here at, you know, 51 thanking God for this age and how he has kept me and how he has allowed me to pour in and encourage others, even in the midst of my brokenness or pain or going through. He just gave me this light and this burst of energy that as empty cups in the community, I'm able to fill empty cups. From babies to seniors, I'm able to fill their cup until it run over. So I just want to encourage you to be that beacon of hope for somebody help. Help somebody else. If you want to do anything, you want to fly, as you first love yourself, also love others and show love by serving the community.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you so
You're
much, Kathy.
welcome. You're welcome.
So,
Thank you.
so everyone, this was my series for the week. I wanted to honor women making history for Women's History Month, which is March. That was one of the things about the month. So many, every month is always something that we're celebrating or honoring. So I was really so happy to take out this time to honor some of the wonderful women in my life that has really impacted me in a positive way. And I wanted to share it with all of you. So I am Marshall Harris. I am an author of 2 books. I help cancer survivors advocate for their own health and wellness so that they can have confidence in going through the healthcare system. Confidence is so very important in order to get through a diagnosis and
Mm-hmm.
your body. So that's one of the things I'm very passionate about. And so I help cancer survivors do that. You can reach out and find me on all social medias at Marshall Harris. And my website is marshallharris.com. I'm here for you. Do not do cancer alone. If you need support, you need any kind of resources or anything, you can always reach out to me. And I will be putting Cathy's information in the comments so you can locate her and connect with her as well and donate to any efforts that she's doing. If you want to donate to mine, you can also donate at the bottom of my website. But the best way to work with me is to buy both copies of my book.
Yeah. I have two. I have several.
They're a
Yes.
wonderful resource. So I'm here to
Yes.
serve because I promised Jesus that if he saved me and let me live, that I would share my testimony and story with the world and give back. So use me. All right.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here and taking out time on your Friday to come here and meet my special guest, Cathy.
Yes.
Bye,
Nice to
everyone.
meet you all. Bye bye. Have a
Have a
wonderful
great weekend.
weekend.